Realities and resources, or resources and realities. So I'm a little bummed this morning because we were supposed to take Plan Z out and make a few laps over at Buffalo Valley. Today was their first official test and tune. We've had such a beautiful winter, all winter. We've been in the 50s, 60s, 70s. It was beautiful out. And then last night they canceled today's test and tune because of the weather. We have a little bit of a cold snap coming through here this weekend. It's not that bad, but it's bad enough for them to call it. So we won't be able to go out again until we run Casper on the 1st. Now, that's realities, resources and realities for us personally, is that we have 4 dogs, and one of them is old. She's very old. She's frail. She's sick. She needs constant attention. We can't just like throw the dogs in the back of the truck and go. We need a dog sitter. So one of our realities is that we have to coordinate with other people to get things, even just the simplest thing like a day out, has to be coordinated, you know? So realities and limitations, that's what this video is about. So on this channel, we get one of the very common comments that we get a lot is, why don't you have a lift? Or if we're welding something, it's like, why don't you have a this, or why don't you have a that? And my answer to those comments is always the same. It never changes, because most of our viewers don't have a lift, or most of our viewers don't have, you know, a complete welding setup, right? So that's why we work on the ground and we work with a flux core, and because these are the things that everybody can afford. So picture this now. You've got the world of gearheads. You've got the universe of gearheads, okay? 100% of this universe. 25% of this population has the money, the resources, the time, the experience, whatever it happens to be, to do pretty much anything they want, right? Money is no object. Time is no object. They've got garages, they've got shops, they got lifts, they got people working for them, they got all kinds of things, right? And at that level, at that end of the spectrum, this is a rich man's game, right? And it doesn't matter whether it's racing or collecting or whatever it happens to be. When you're playing at that level, you're rich. You have resource, lots of resource. In the middle, there's like 50% of the population that has some resource. They have some money, they have some experience, and they're the majority. And they're people who have a car or 2 cars, 3 cars, whatever it is, and they have a garage, and they have some tools, and they have some knowledge, and they have some experience, and they're the bulk, right? They're the bulk. But at the other end of the spectrum, you've got the 25% of the population that's in the world of cars that really have nothing. They're broke. Okay. Now, they're not like living in a cardboard box eating cat food broke, but they're broke enough. They work a job, like a regular job. They have a wife, they got kids, they have responsibilities. They don't have a garage, they don't have a shop, they don't have, you know, they actually have to save to do something like buy a used carburetor or a used part for their car. They just don't have it. They just don't have it. They don't have the resources. And one of the main goals of this channel, one of the things that we do on this channel, we focus on this channel, is we're trying to raise those people up. We try to present ideas and concepts so that they can learn, so that they can, to make it a little bit easier for them, to make it a little bit cheaper for them, to give them the leg up, and to inspire them to actually go out and do whatever they can to get involved, to get their hands on it and get involved. It's not easy for those people, right? But, you know, eventually, as time goes on, they'll all move up and they'll fill that 50% where the rest of us lie, right? And I'm part of that 50%. I'm certainly not rich, and I'm not poor. I'm right there in the middle with most of you guys. But those are the people who I really go out of my way to try and raise up. You know, I don't use certain things and don't do certain things because those people don't have those things. So by working the way we work on the kind of stuff that we work on, taking the approaches that we take, this, I think, is inspiring for those people. And that's what we're trying to do. If you want to watch people burn down cash, there's lots of YouTube channels where they're burning down cash. You know, watch Cletus. I love Cletus. I watch a lot of Cletus's videos. But like, there you go. Money's no object. They got a big shop. They got their own racetrack. They got teams. They got cash. They got everything they possibly could use. That's not reflecting the majority of the YouTube viewership. So I want to do a video today about three ways that somebody with very limited resources, somebody at the bottom, in that bottom 25% of the spectrum, can get involved in a hands-on way, right? That will work within the resources of the most meager enthusiast. And again, like I said, it's not somebody who's living in a cardboard box, but just somebody who just has those realities of life that keep them from diving in and traveling or whatever it happens to be. This is three ways you can live the Gearhead lifestyle without any money, or very, very little money. So the first way has nothing to do with cars at all, right? This is something I've just rediscovered now, and I'm having a ball with it. Mini bikes, okay? Mini bikes, go-karts. Go-karts not so much, because go-karts are very limited. There's very few things you can do with a go-kart. Mini bike is much more versatile. So why do I say mini bikes? Don't confuse the mini bike with the motorcycle. They're two completely different things. A motorcycle actually takes commitment. It takes a commitment of real space. It takes a commitment of real money. It takes a commitment of experience. They're complicated machines, because regardless of their purpose, they could be a cruiser or a sport bike or whatever it happens to be. They take commitment. They're complicated machines. They can be expensive to work with and deal with and everything else, because they have to do everything a vehicle out on the road needs to do. A mini bike, on the other hand, is as simple a device as you could possibly get. So if you're just trying to learn, right? Let's say you're new to this whole world and you're okay, how do I learn how engines work? Or how do I learn how induction systems work? Compression ratios, flow, what is jetting? What are all of these things? Right? Well, the mini bike contains every single element of the bigger Gearhead picture that you'll find in a real car, a real motorcycle, whatever it happens to be. They're all there, and they're super easy and super cheap to work with. So I'll show you how I got involved and give an example of now, how cheap this can be. So like I said, this year we're going out, and we picked up this trailer. I showed you the trailer we picked up. Nice trailer, right? We're supposed to be getting used today, but no. All right. I says, well, if we're going to be getting out, I need like a pit bike. I need something I could just, I could throw in, I could strap to the back of the trailer, or I could throw it in the back of the Jeep, or whatever happens to be. And I've got a way to get around once I'm at the track. So I start looking for a pit bike. I go on Facebook Marketplace, and this thing pops up. So this fit my purpose absolutely perfectly. What this is it's the little Coleman 100cc. Okay, and the guy I got this from swapped in the 200cc motor. So this thing is an absolute hoot. I paid $300 for it, ready to go. I was going to say turnkey, but there's no key to turn. You just pull the ripcord and go. This thing is an absolute riot for $300. Okay, so I'm satisfied. I'm good. I'm riding around the shop, I'm riding around the parking lot, I'm having fun with it. So body man Ron pops over and he's like, oh, you got a mini bike? I says, yeah, take it for a ride. So he takes her for a ride. He says, I need a mini bike. I says, you need a mini bike. So the next day he goes on Facebook Marketplace and he buys that. I'm like, oh, jeez. So now I'm watching him ride around in the parking lot, and that's a significantly bigger bike. It's the 200, right? And I'm watching him ride around a parking lot, and I'm like, man, that thing looks like it'd be a blast out on the trails. I says, we got to go trail riding with this stuff. But I can't go trail riding really with the one that I've got here. This is definitely more suited to parking lots and stuff like that. And the reason being, not only is it very small and light, but if you look at the ground clearance between the chain, right at the bottom of the sprocket and the ground, yeah, this is awesome for parking lots and dirt roads and stuff like that. But you can't go trail riding with that. So what do? I go back to Facebook Marketplace and I spend $375 and I get this. Okay, so this is the Coleman 200. This is definitely more suited to a full-size human. And if you look at the size of the tires and the wheels and whatnot, this is way better suited to off-roading, trail riding, and stuff like that. What did I pay for this one? $375. It's brand new. It's brand new. You can go right now and buy these things online, Amazon or Kmart or Tractor Supply always has them in stock. They're about $800, brand new. And this one was bought by an older couple. They used it for just running around their property, a little bit, like it's got maybe an hour's worth of runtime on it. And then they're moving, so they decided they didn't need any more, so they put it on Marketplace, $375. Deals like that are everywhere. These things are dirt cheap to get involved in. And if you really want to take it to an extreme, do a little research. There are people who street race these things. They run them through the woods, you name it. People are doing it with a mini bike, and it's dirt cheap. These bikes, that, like I said, they're littered all over Facebook Marketplace. These things new are governed to about a 20-mile-an-hour top speed, but there's a little trick you could do with a zip tie or use safety wire to defeat the governor, and without spending any money at all, they'll go 30. Now you could buy racing engines. I don't know what's going on out there. I'll go to a quieter area to shop. You could buy full-on racing engines for these things for like $500, $500. You can build, like, for under $1,000, if you shop around, you could build something that is truly terrifying. Like, there are people who go 70, 80 miles an hour with those things. You do not want to go 70, 80 miles an hour with that, with the little wheels and the no suspension and everything else. That's hairy stuff, but people do it all the time, and they're having a blast with them, and it's dirt cheap. It's the perfect way to get involved in the gearhead thing, learn all of the ins and the outs of working with machinery and modifying them, and what works and what doesn't work, and so on and so forth. And it all transfers directly to the world of cars, or bigger cycles, motorcycles, or cars. Mini bikes are a blast. All right, so that's one way. Okay, that's one way you can get involved. Now I'm going to show you another one. This is like, so if you're my age, yeah, I'm 60, so I'm a child of the late 60s, early 70s. Back when I was a kid, car models were everywhere. Every department store, candy stores, everybody had car models, and like the gamut, whatever you wanted. Most of them were 125th scale, 124th, 125th scale, and everything from just regular stock cars to to stock cars and funny cars and dragsters and everything else. And then they had like in around 72, 73, they started bringing out these Revell 1/16 scale dragsters and funny cars that were like really detailed. They had the plug wires, and like they were great. And I learned so much about cars during that period of time, because by putting it together, these countless models, one after another, you started to learn where, okay, this is what the distributor is, and this is what it does, and this is where the plug wires go, and this is what the fuel lines do, and okay, the clutch goes here. And so, it didn't teach me how the cars actually function, but it gave me a familiarity, so that as I got older and actually started getting involved, it was kind of like, oh, I know what that is. I know the relationship there. I know how far this is supposed to be from there, and how, because I programmed in my brain 1,000 times building all of these models. Yeah? So modeling is a great way for somebody with very, very limited resources to actually get involved and do something creative and productive. So we have a viewer, his name is KJ Kiley. So KJ has built us a couple of models, and we've shown them on the channel before. He did one of Plan Z, he did one of Bottle Rocket, and then yesterday I'm eating dinner, right? And Kathy says, hey, you got a box? So I open it up, and this is great. KJ Kiley built us a 1/25th version of Slaghammer. Now, guys, the detail on this thing is just absolutely amazing. Okay, I mean, okay, here, that number is still on the back of the car from the last time it was at the track. Oh, there it is. Okay? I mean, this is just astounding. Every detail of the car has been duplicated. Even the chains that hold, that keep the hood from going all the way forward. Every detail on the car is exact, including like just the stance, that freaky stance that all you guys are like, oh, yeah, no, the wheels got to get tucked in a little bit. No, I like it like this. Okay? He duplicated the car in every detail. KJ, thank you so much. You have no idea how much I appreciate it. So I opened this thing up. We're sitting down, we're eating dinner. I opened this thing up, and I told Kathy and Crystal were at the table. I says, listen, when I drop dead, you put this in the box with me. I mean that sincerely, man. I so totally appreciate it. All right, but building models is another way that you can get involved, and you can enjoy the car thing. Okay, we all have our dream cars, right? Like, I have a thing, Jaguar E-types. I see these things and I melt. Brit bikes, right? 60s and early 70s Brit bikes. I love these things, but I know enough about them that I don't want to own one. I want to admire them from afar, right? Or if I wasn't involved doing all this other stuff, I'd be building models of them. Because it lets you connect to them. The reality of cars like that is that even though they're beautiful and desirable and everything else, and this applies to like the Plymouth Superbird, the Hemi Cuda, the LS6 Chevelle, whatever your dream, the Boss 429 Mustang, whatever your dream car is, trust me when I tell you, it's much more enjoyable in your dreams than in real life. Because when you have something that's rare and exotic and sometimes fragile like those cars, you become the caretaker. You spend more time worrying about, you can't just take it out because a surprise hailstorm while you're out on the road, well, that's just going to totally ruin your day, you know what I mean? Or the unobtainable part. They take constant maintenance. They take constant care. It's the Jay Leno class that can really enjoy those things to the fullest extent, but you need Jay Leno resources to really enjoy them. Other than that, you become a slave to those cars. So the easiest way to enjoy those cars is to experience part of those cars is to build models of them. It's a great way. And I'm surprised it's not a bigger hobby, but in today's world, we don't really have that much free time, right? But again, see, you want to participate, but you don't have a garage, you don't have the money for extra cars, the family comes first, you have to do all of these things. Scale modeling could be a very rewarding way of enjoying the hobby for next to no money. All right, the last thing, right? And for me, it's kind of like the most obvious thing. Number three, right? Number three, YouTube. Make YouTube videos. And now the great thing about this is, if you start making YouTube videos, you can eventually get to the point where it will pay for everything else that you want. And I'll get to that in a minute. So, to make good YouTube videos, you do not need to have any experience. You do not need to have any money. You don't need to have any exotic cars. You don't need to have anything except enthusiasm for the thing that you're enthusiastic about. Because enthusiasm is contagious. So if, let's just say, you're learning about how a distributor works, or you're learning about crankshafts, or whatever it is that you're learning about, or you're learning about different sciences or different types of cars or bikes or whatever it happens to be, it doesn't make a difference. If you're enthusiastic about it and you're learning about it, that will make fantastic content. Because the same way you're learning about it, look, for every one person that owns it or has experience with it, there's 100 people that wish they owned it or wish they had experience with it or wish they had knowledge. They will watch you and they'll learn through you or with you. They'll identify with you. That's the only thing you need to do to make good YouTube videos. It gives you a chance to get out into the world, to meet people. You can go to a show, you can go to a race. Nobody will ever if you walk up to somebody and say, hey, I love your car, can I shoot a quick video for my YouTube channel, right? Nobody on earth is ever going to say no. They'll all smile and chip up and say, yeah, definitely, and then they'll start giving you all the information about it. It's a way to get directly involved, to grow your own experience, to grow your own knowledge, and to bring others along for the ride. Now, here's the side benefit to this, okay? So let's just say, and you don't worry about views. Don't give views any thought when you're starting to do this. Just make the videos. Now, let's just say you decide you're going to do a daily automotive vlog, and you're only going to do, let's say, a 2 or 3 minute video every day, which is very easy. You can find a few minutes every day to make a video about a topic you're interested in. All right. And remember, interested, you don't have to have the knowledge, experience, or the exotic equipment or cars, just the enthusiasm. So let's just say you decide you're going to do an automotive vlog, and you're going to do it every day, and you're going to make a video that's 1 minute, 2 minutes, 3 minutes long every day. After 3 years, you'll have 1,000 videos in your library. And over that 3 years, you'll pick up people who will just stumble across your videos because they have a 12-bolt rear end, you know what I mean? And you're learning about rear ends, and they look up 12-bolt rear end, and your video that's titled "Everything I Learned About the 12-Bolt Rear End," you know, they'll click on it. And if they like you, they like what you said, they'll subscribe. Now, over time, this will add up. And eventually, you'll get to the point where you've got 1,000 subscribers and you've got 4,000 hours of watch time. And it may take 2 years, it may take 3 years. But eventually, at that point, you now are monetized. And that video of, let's say, 1,000 vlogs that you did before will now provide you passive income, $200, $300, $400 a day, depending on how many you have out there and how popular they are. But the point is, it's a way that you can get involved, you can express yourself, you can be creative, and you can live in the world of the things that you're interested in without actually having to commit to being in that world. You don't have to spend the money, put the car in a trailer, have the shop, have the broken parts, or whatever it happens to be. You could just be in that world. And if you're enthusiastic, that world will open its arms to you and welcome you, and you can make some fantastic content, and you can be part of living the dream. Living the dream. And as a side effect, you may actually end up making a living off of it at some point. It's not impossible. People do it all the time. Just stick with it. All right, so that's 3 ways. There are more, but let's just call it there because this video is starting to run long. So that's 3 ways that you can enjoy the hobby, that you can get involved and learn and expand and have experiences without spending money, without having any resources. You can do it. I know you. I have faith in you. You can definitely do it. I hope you got something out of that. I'll see you tomorrow.